Hey everyone, it's been over 2 minutes and I haven't been raped yet. Looks like a good day. Hi, I'm Diana Davison. Today we're going to go on an adventure down the path of bad choices made by a woman named Lucy Decoutere. Lucy is a member of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Don't ask me why a country that believes all people are equal has a royal family. That's beyond the scope of this video, but I do want to ask why they continue to employ an officer who lied under oath in a court of law. Specifically, Lucy Decoutere's behavior is bound to the National Defence Act from the Queen's Regulations and Orders. 103.25 Scandalous Conduct by Officers. Section 92 of the National Defence Act provides, every officer who behaves in a scandalous manner unbecoming an officer is guilty of an offence, and on conviction shall suffer dismissal with disgrace from Her Majesty's service, or dismissal from Her Majesty's service. And there is no doubt that Lucy's behavior has been scandalous. Let's look at Lucy's perjury and public mischief as exposed in a Canadian courtroom, brought to you at the great personal expense of Mr. Jian Ghomeshi. Yes, Jian paid a small fortune to expose Lucy's corruption to the Canadian public, and he succeeded. Yet nothing changed. Lucy is still a captain in the Air Force. She's still going around social media spreading lies about Jian Ghomeshi. She's never been held responsible for her actions, her choice to walk into a police station and lie under oath for the purpose of having someone wrongfully arrested. This trial was live tweeted and reported in detail. At this point, the Canadian public knows that Lucy Decoutere participated in an orchestrated campaign to maliciously destroy a man's life, to feed her own and other people's failing careers. We know that. We listened to it live tweeted from the courtroom. We know the entire case was a fraud. We know they lied to us. We know they lied under oath. We know they wasted public resources and intentionally destroyed Jian Ghomeshi's career with malicious, self-serving intent. The entire Canadian public was made complicit in this malicious campaign to destroy a man, and we loved it. We couldn't get enough. So now let's have a national conversation about what to do about Lucy. Why is Lucy Decoutere, a sworn member of the Royal, for whatever reasons we have that, Air Force, allowed to lie under oath, pervert the course of justice, and still keep her job? Let's see how Lucy was exposed, and then we'll talk about how to deal with it. Lucy didn't just lie to police and in a courtroom. She trumpeted her lies across every kind of media she could access. It wasn't a quiet lie. It wasn't a small one. Lucy hired a promoter to help her spread her lies as far and wide as possible. So Marie Henin, Jian Ghomeshi's lawyer, starts by listing off the many media interviews and press releases Lucy gave before and after talking to police, from the transcripts. And then on January 8th, you do a press release again, right? That's the third press release you issued. Remind me what that was for? I'd love to know, but it's a press release. When you talk about speaking up, do you remember that one? I don't remember that specifically, no. All right, do you remember that it was the same day as a second set of charges were laid against Mr. Oh, yes. Right. Those charges had nothing to do with you. That's correct. Lucy was trying to become the face of other accusers, the face of all accusers. She wasn't talking about her own truth at all. Henin mentions that police told Lucy to stop doing interviews, and so her lawyer, Gillian Natu, starts issuing the press releases for her, and her lawyer does an interview with Maclean's right before the trial began. So this is why Lucy lied. It was a publicity campaign. We all knew Lucy had a publicity agent, and no one was talking about how sick that was. That wasn't part of our national conversation. Lucy's name was everywhere, suddenly back in the spotlight, and she couldn't get enough of it. Of the many interviews Lucy gave, police had been particularly concerned with a quote from Lucy given to Toronto Life article writer Leah McLaren. Lucy is quoted as saying she had organized a covert network of women. Lucy claims she was misquoted, but as Henin will show later, Lucy was at least directly responsible for goading the third complainant into claiming she'd been assaulted, pushing her to go to the media and then to police. And we don't know how many others Lucy did the same with. And Lucy's story changed by the time she got to court. Her original lie was based on media reports that Gian would suddenly hit women without warning, and so that's what Lucy claimed happened to her too. Just as the first complainant, also caught lying under oath, did, Lucy added elements of romance to the encounter to make more sense of it. Lucy adds a whole schwack of kissing into her story for the first time when she's sitting in court, and Hennon focuses on that. Lucy added that Ghomeshi tried to kiss her on the walk to his home, and she dodged him. But then she adds that after the alleged assault, she kissed him a few times, including at the door when she was leaving. Lucy keeps saying that she was trying to normalize the situation. She uses that word any time her story is looking weak or curious. So how do you explain that Lucy didn't think it was appropriate to kiss Gian before the alleged assault, but thinks kissing is the best course of action afterwards? Marie Hennon. All right, and just so I understand it, just before I leave this for a second, as I understand it, the assault makes it more likely that you will kiss him to normalize the situation twice? I'm sorry, was that a question? Yeah. Okay, yes. I was acting in reaction to something shocking, and so I neutralized the situation in a way that, from someone who's looking back on it, it seems a little strange. However, at the moment, that was the best choice that I could make. That was the best one you could come up with. That was the best one I could come up with, yeah. Kiss him a couple of times before you leave. People sometimes do strange things under stress. So Hennon tries to whittle out what this normalizing phrase really means. She asks, and so just so I have it, what you're thinking is at this point in time is that you're now out of the house. Right? You've told us under oath why you're kissing him, and so you've now fortunately normalized the situation. Am I right? Not in my mind. It wasn't normalized. No. But it's getting there, right? Sure. Hennon goes along with Lucy's rhetoric, encouraging her to explain how real trauma works in Lucy's mind, but mostly just getting her to put specific statements on the record that can later be tested. She says, but keeping your distance, sort of measuring it all out, right? Right. And not being intimate with him, that's for sure, right? Like we didn't have sex, or there was none of that, right? But as we know, Lucy actively sought out Gion's company all weekend. Hennon produces pictures of Lucy clinging to Gion's side with a lovesick, dopey grin. All right, and you're looking like you're having a pretty good time, right? Yeah, it was a great barbecue. Even with the guy that just assaulted you. Yeah, he has a great group of friends. But I'm going to suggest to you, you thought he was pretty great too, right? Yes, but again, I had mixed feelings. Very mixed feelings. Well, I'm going to suggest to you that your feelings weren't mixed at all. Let's look at this. This is a picture of you and Mr. Ghomeshi at the barbecue. Do you remember that? I do. So after presented with a bunch of evidence that she remained in contact and close to Gian, as close as she could get, as much as possible through the entire weekend, Hennon narrows in on the withholding of this information from media and police. And you never told the police about the brunch, right until today. That's true. I didn't know that any of that was relevant to my statement. I presumed that when they asked about what happened, they were speaking specifically about when Mr. Ghomeshi assaulted me. I didn't understand the relevance of after-incident contact. Hennon points out, that is a very well-rehearsed answer, Ms. Decoutere, but I'm going to suggest to you, the police were very clear about what they needed to know from you. They asked you specific questions about what you did, right? They did. However, I did not understand the importance of what happened afterwards. Hennon repeatedly catches Lucy lying about whether or not police asked her to describe other contacts she had with Gian. She shows her video and reads from transcripts of the police statement, which show Lucy was asked and she didn't tell the truth. Now, when presented with the photos, she says, I don't remember these photos being taken at all, but obviously they were. Okay, that's you cuddling Mr. Ghomeshi, right? Yes, it is. I didn't know those photos existed. You do now, right? I do. The existence of the photos is not actually her problem. Lucy's problem is that she's lying under oath. If she wasn't doing that, lying to the court, then it wouldn't matter how many pictures existed. Is it possible, Miss Decoutere, that you will not remember it unless I show you and I can prove it? Is it possible you have a convenient memory? Lucy says, no, I don't have a convenient memory. But Lucy does. She knows third-party record searches were done, and after telling us that she was misquoted about organizing a covert network and had no ill will towards Gian, we find out the following. I'm going to press charges. You knew that by going to the police, you were going to try to get charges laid. Lucy says, it wasn't until I got to the police that I understood that I don't actually press charges. That I take a statement, and then they take that information and do with it what's appropriate. Ms. Decoutere, do you remember testifying today, here, before His Honor, that you really weren't actually interested in any legal action? Those were your words? When I went to the press initially, I was not interested in any legal action. No, that's not what you told us this morning. No, what you told His Honor is that you eventually went to the police. Ms. Langdon was very careful. She asked you, and you said, yeah, I went to the police because they said if anybody had information, they should come forward, but I was not interested in any legal action. That's what you said under oath this morning, right? Right. All right. So it has nothing to do with the media. You were being asked why you went to the police. Do you accept that? In fact, on October 31st, you were talking to your friend and you said, I'm going to get this ball rolling. I'm going to press charges. I guess I did say that if... Well, do you see that that's inconsistent with what you said under oath today? I do see that. Yeah, and so when you went to the police station, you were intending to do your best, at least, to have charges laid against Mr. Ghomeshi, right? Right. All right, so what you told His Honor this morning was not true, right? About going to the police. Will you admit that? Not yet. Can you just rephrase that so that I'm really with you? Because I want to make sure that I'm fully understanding, so... Of course. Let's go back. When you testified this morning, do you recall that Ms. Langdon asked you, why did you go to the media? Right. You gave an explanation. Right. Do you remember that this morning? I do. And then, do you remember Ms. Langdon then said, why did you go to the police? What made you go to the police? Right. And you said, I went to the police because they said if anybody had any information that they should come forward. I was not actually interested in any legal action. Right. Okay. Do you remember that was your evidence? Yeah. Under oath. Absolutely. Do you remember that you spoke to your friend, Mr. Kuttner, October 31st, 6 days before you walk into the police station, and you say, I'm going to press charges? Right. I'm going to get the ball rolling. Right. All right. Do you see now? I do. That's not what you said today in court. I see it as an inconsistency. That's what Lucy calls a lie. It's just an inconsistency. She can call a lie whatever she wants, and it doesn't change what's being described. She lied. She, Lucy Decoutere, with malice, intentionally went to the police to have Ghomeshi criminally charged. The only surprise was finding out she can't press charges. All right, and as I understand it, what you told us today is that you wanted to protect Mr. Ghomeshi, right? You have compassion for him, right? I did say that, yes. But you don't have compassion for him, right? That's not true. I do have compassion for him. You do have compassion for him. Yeah, I do. You feel sympathetic towards him. Absolutely. All right, and that is why you told your friend, Mr. Kuttner, on October 26th, I want him fucking decimated. He's been a very long time, all the while becoming more famous and successful. What was the date for that, please? That was October 26th. All right. And if it's true, you're talking about you don't know the details. If that's true, I want him fucking decimated. Right. He's walked the line so long, he's had so many women afraid of him, or at least creeped out for a very long time, all the while becoming more famous and successful. So you wanted him fucking decimated, to use your words. Is that right? Yeah? I just want to pause for a moment here to point out that Lucy said on October 26th, the same day the Toronto Star published the first article about allegations, she said, "If that's true." Lucy contacted Jessie Brown right away to tell her story, but the first thing she said was, "If that's true." She didn't know if Gian beat women or not, but Lucy was going to decimate Gian on behalf of someone else, even while acknowledging she doesn't know if the allegations are true. All she says is she knows he's creeped out women. So Lucy thinks Gian is creepy, and now she's going to tell people he assaulted her. She doesn't know if it's true, remember that. She just wants him decimated. So I often will speak a hyperbole, and I did say that. I would say that that was said with a degree of hyperbole. How about this one? The guy's a shit show, time to flush. That's said to your friend on November 13th, 2014. Someone can be unkind and hurt people very much and still have a soul that requires nurturing. I have compassion for Mr. Ghomeshi because his life has changed drastically. So this is you being compassionate? To be fair, I was fielding a lot of correspondence with a lot of violence in it. Okay, what about this one? February 24th, 2015. Charges have been laid, and you say, "I hope he's panic eating so much feelings in a high-calorie way." Hope I did. He gets chubby. I want him to get really chubby. That's hyperbole? That's self-referential. I was, okay, eating a lot and getting chubby. What about this one? Fuck Ghomeshi. That's February 24th. He's Iranian. You're talking about Detective Ansari. You seem to be delighted that Detective Ansari is Iranian and he's arresting another Iranian. Quote, fuck Ghomeshi. Mm-hmm. What's the hyperbole there? Oh, that's fairly aggressive. On October 26th, the Toronto Star published Kevin Donovan and Jessie Brown's article accusing Gian Ghomeshi of assaulting women. As Donovan's new book details, everyone at the Toronto Star knew the accusers had all spoken to each other in advance. In fact, they had, as Gian wrote in his Facebook post, all been contacted by a jilted ex-girlfriend who organized the lies. On October 26th, every single accuser had been speaking with this ex-girlfriend for months, talking about how they could take Gian down. Kevin Donovan knew that. Jessie Brown knew that. The Toronto Star knew that. In his book, The Investigation of Gian Ghomeshi, Donovan writes, "In retrospect, I would change one item in my letter to Gian's lawyer. I had written, 'To the best of my knowledge, there is no collusion.' Collusion is when people conspire secretly together for a harmful purpose. Looking at the correspondence months later, I would agree that Paula and Carly were certainly communicating secretly in their attempt to get this story out, and the story would be a harmful one to Ghomeshi if published." Carly is the fake name that Donovan has given to Gian's ex-girlfriend, and she's the one who put the reporters in contact with the other two accusers. It was organized. They colluded. Donovan's book reveals that there is not a single accuser in the Gian Ghomeshi scandal who hadn't already been tainted by another source. Back to Lucy. "If that's true," Lucy said. Lucy Decoutere didn't know if it was true, nor did she care. She was going to make it true. She wanted to have as much fun as possible fucking decimating Gian Ghomeshi, because she thought he was a creep. So that was day one of Lucy's testimony. It finishes with Marie Henin cautioning Lucy to start telling the truth before it's too late. Lucy refuses to take Henin's advice. Lucy's second day in court is next, and it was talked about much more in the media, but the first day is important. On this first day, we found out how and why Lucy made the choice to commit a crime. She lied about the nature of her relationship with Gian. She lied about whether or not she had withheld information from police. She lied about her motives. She lied about why she went to the police. She lied about being compassionate. She even lied about lying when she got caught. This was not a good day for the Royal Canadian Air Force.